Ever wake up from a dream so vivid it sticks with you for days? Like it felt real.
Totally.
Now imagine that dream was about the end of the world, as we know it, at least.
Okay, yeah, I see where you're going with it.
That's what we're diving into today.
Whoa, heavy topic.
A collection of these intense firsthand accounts of what are often called rapture dreams.
Okay.
Chronicled in this book we've got here, Revelation 126 by Edward Tropea.
And you have come to the right place to talk about it.
Because
We're going deep on the human experience here instead of getting bogged down in, theological debates.
exactly.
This is about real people.
And their experiences.
And these dreams, they're more than just clouds and harps, the stereotypical stuff.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
These are emotional, highly symbolic, and some of them straight up bizarre imagery you'll find in here.
Oh, absolutely. Over 130 dreams, in fact.
Wow, that's a lot of dreams.
We're talking giant statues, mysterious sounds, even a cameo from him. Well, you'll have to wait for that one.
Oh, now you've got to tell me.
Later.
Okay.
But before we get lost in dreamland, tell me about this Tropea fellow. What sparked his fascination with this?
Well, actually, Tropea, he comes from an IT background.
Okay, interesting.
But he's always been drawn to these big questions of faith and spirituality, And I think what struck him was this surge of people, many just sharing online even, who are having these incredibly vivid, intense dreams about the rapture.
Yeah.
This moment, for those maybe who aren't familiar, when, according to some belief systems, believers are kind of whisked away to safety.
Right.
Before, things get really bad.
The tribulation.
Exactly.
Yeah. So he's tapping into this really interesting cultural phenomenon, but not necessarily saying everyone should take these dreams literally, right?
Yeah, I don't think that's his main point, no.
Okay.
He's interested in the dreams themselves.
Right.
The raw experience of them, what they might tell us about ourselves,
Okay.
our hopes, anxieties. How we as humans try to make sense of a world that can feel unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
He even envisions, now get this, he wants to use virtual reality to let people feel these dreams.
Well, hold on. Really? Like experience them firsthand.
Yeah, firsthand. But we'll get back to that later on, I promise.
Hey, you've got my attention.
Oh.
I'll see that. But first, let's talk about some common themes that emerge in these dreams. Besides the obvious going up part, what are some of the other things that pop up again and again?
So many good ones. One of the most common, though, is this idea of the call to the rapture.
Okay.
And it's often not what you expect at all.
Really?
They forget the gentle whispers, the beams of light.
Okay.
A lot of these dreamers, they describe it as this sudden, jarring, even experience.
Yeah.
Challenging those traditional, peaceful images.
So less gentle shepherd and more like cosmic wake-up call you can't ignore.
Exactly. And it's interesting
Yeah.
because in one dream, it's described as this wave of energy that lifts the dreamer right up into the air. Not exactly peaceful.
Wow. No kidding. Talk about an attention grabber. And this idea of a more, forceful presence.
Yes, good point.
Do you think that reflects how people today maybe relate to more traditional ideas of, religious figures?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a fascinating question. And I think you might be onto something. Maybe it is a shift in how we perceive authority or a desire for something.
Mm.
Maybe something more immediate in our world that's constantly moving.
Yeah. Makes you think. Okay, so we've got the call. What else? What else we got?
Okay, so you're called. Now what? It's the journey.
The journey, okay.
This is where things get wild. It's depicted as a process, often, not this instant disappearance.
Okay.
Planes, trains, spaceships even.
Spaceships. Okay.
Imagine the most insane airport experience of your life, but instead of going on vacation, it's, you get the picture.
It's like that fear we've all had, missing your flight times 1,000. Like the stakes are just infinitely higher.
And speaking of anxieties,
Mm.
another theme that pops up is the mark.
Okay, forgive the rusty Sunday school knowledge here, but isn't that usually referring to the mark of the beast?
It is, but what's interesting is that it connects to present-day anxieties, data privacy, those social credit systems we hear about, even AI.
So you're saying these dreams, they're taking this ancient symbol of conformity and control, and they're just dropping it right into our worries of the 21st century.
Exactly. There's this one dream where there's this advanced implant that can heal you, fix your finances, but you give up part of who you are to get it. Sure. So that struggle, right, that internal struggle of holding on to your beliefs, even when it means maybe sacrificing security or comfort or even your health, it resonates, whether you subscribe to the whole theological interpretation or not.
Yeah, it makes you think about, like, what are we willing to give up, in exchange for security or comfort? And that's got to come with some heavy emotions,
Right,
right?
absolutely, 100%.
Reading these accounts, you really get a sense of this, like, emotional roller coaster that these dreamers are going through.
Totally, totally.
It's not just the events, it's like the raw, visceral reactions that they provoke.
Yeah, it's everything.
Intense joy and anticipation, but then on the flip side, crushing fear, dread, this urgency to, like, warn people.
Oh, 100%. And can you imagine, like, having this intense experience
And no one believes you.
and no one believes you? It's got to be so frustrating.
Oh, trying to describe any dream is hard enough.
Right.
But to have it be something like this?
Exactly. And it's not just that no one believes you. They think you're crazy.
Oh, totally.
There's this one story where this person is trying to convince their brother, their own brother, about the rapture. And the brother's just like, you've lost it.
Oh, that's got to be heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking.
Because you're coming from this place of love and concern,
Exactly.
and they just think you're off your rocker.
And that feeling of isolation, even betrayal, is a recurring thing.
Yeah.
But it's not all doom and gloom.
Okay, good.
A lot of the dreamers, they actually talk about how these rapture dreams were transformative,
Interesting.
even when they were terrifying.
So like a wake-up call, in the most literal sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like it shakes them out of their routine. Like one person said it was like being stripped bare. All the unimportant stuff just gone.
Yeah.
And they found this sense of peace about their faith, about their purpose.
That's powerful. So even with all the fear and uncertainty, it can be a source of, like, positive change and growth.
100%. It's like we were talking about anxieties earlier.
Yeah.
It's like facing your biggest fear head on
Right.
can actually be a really good thing.
Yeah, no, I get that. Okay, but before we get to existential here, I do want to get into some of the more, shall we say, unique details.
Please.
Because, we've been talking about these big, heavy emotions, but some of these dreams are just straight up out there.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. They're so creative.
Like that one where there's, like, a whole rapture machine.
Yes. That one, like what
Orchestrating the whole thing. And get this, it runs on spiritual fuel.
I love that.
What even is that?
Right. Like, how do you even measure that? But it's so human, right?
Totally.
Trying to explain the unexplainable.
It's like we need to put it in terms that we understand.
It's like we need to quantify it.
Okay, what else you got? Give me another one.
Okay. This dreamer, they come face to face with a giant.
Okay, so classic nightmare material.
Right, exactly. You'd expect terror. But instead, this giant is totally chill.
Get out of here. Really?
Gentle, even comforting.
Okay, see, now that's messing with my expectations. Don't judge a book by its cover. Or a giant, I guess.
Right, exactly.
Like, maybe our preconceived notions about the end of days, about what these divine beings are like, are totally wrong.
Exactly. We get so caught up in how we think things should be.
Yeah. Okay, speaking of divine beings, what about the epilogue?
Oh, yes.
Tropea gets creative himself here. He imagines Jesus, like, going door to door inviting people to the rapture.
Yeah, like a cosmic census taker.
Right. What's up with that?
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
He paints this picture of Jesus just like knocking on doors.
Like a salesman.
But instead of vacuums, it's eternal salvation.
I love it. Okay, so what do people do?
Everything. Some are over the moon. Some are like, not today.
Right.
Slam the door in his face.
Oh, no.
This one lady, she's like, can you come back tomorrow? I'm doing laundry. It's hilarious.
It's so human, though, right?
Right. Life goes on. Even if the fate of humanity is at stake, gotta fold the laundry.
It's such a good point, though.
Right.
Because that's what I think makes these dreams so interesting.
They are fascinating.
They're this mix of the cosmic and then the mundane, the profound, and then the totally relatable.
Totally. Exactly that. And it's real people. Real people dealing with faith and doubt, fear and hope. All the messy stuff that makes us human.
So we've talked about these dreams, the emotions, the giant fuel-powered rapture machine. What does Tropea say people should do with all of this? He's not saying to just sit around and wait.
Oh, definitely not. He's actually pretty critical of that mindset.
Really?
He sees it as this passive attitude, just so focused on being raptured that they forget about the here and now.
Right, right.
So he sees these dreams as a call to action.
Okay, a call to action, I like that. But what does that even look like, practically speaking?
Remember how we talked about his tech background
Yeah.
and his thing with virtual reality?
Yeah?
He actually thinks technology can help people really get what these dreams are about, to connect with them.
Okay, so not just reading about them, but like experiencing them firsthand through VR Wild.
Exactly. Imagine putting on a headset and feeling that energy lifting you up,
Yeah.
or seeing the world shrink beneath you as you're taken up. You could even experience what it would be like to convince someone who doesn't believe you.
That's next level. Though I don't know if I'm ready to give up my morning coffee for a simulated rapture just yet.
Right. But you see the point, right? It's about making faith active instead of passive.
Totally, totally.
But it goes beyond just the tech stuff. He's also really pushing for more unity among Christians.
Okay.
Less focus on the differences between denominations, more openness to different points of view, and really coming together to, make the world a better place.
So less about waiting for a rescue mission and more about rolling up your sleeves and getting to work now. I like it.
That's it. He even suggests that, if this rapture thing is real, maybe the when and how aren't set in stone.
Oh, interesting.
Like maybe our choices matter. Our actions can actually influence how things play out.
Wow. So we have more agency than we think. That's a pretty empowering way to look at it.
Right. And whether you believe in the rapture or not, that idea that our choices have weight, that we have a responsibility to do good in the world, that's pretty universal.
Absolutely. It's a powerful message. And, even beyond the religious stuff, it makes you think about dreams in a whole new way, how they reflect who we are.
Totally.
Like these rapture dreams, they can be wild and kind of out there, but they're tapping into these very real, very human anxieties.
Our hopes for the future. What happens after all of this?
Exactly. Our desire to find meaning and connection, something bigger than ourselves.
Exactly. And I think what's interesting is it shows we're not all that different.
Right.
Like the people sharing their dreams in the book, us talking about it, our listeners, we're all trying to figure this thing out.
We're all connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe by listening to each other's stories, even the ones that seem strange or whatever, we can start to understand each other a little better.
Find some common ground, which, let's be honest, we could use a little more of these days.
Amen to that.
And on that note, to our listeners out there, wherever you land on the belief spectrum, I hope this deep dive gave you something to think about.
Something to chew on.
Exactly. Whether it's the power of dreams, this idea of virtual reality and spirituality, or just, what it means to be human in a world that doesn't always make sense. Keep those questions alive. Keep exploring. Keep asking questions and see where it leads.